eyes, like navy blue, big eyes. So I've been so honored to be back here in this territory. The last time I was here was to honor one of our late elders, a really good friend's father recently. So, and before that was canoe journeys with Chief Frank Antoine, and also bringing home the ancestors. So very honored to be back here again, and want to thank Karen also for helping with cooking and organizing us to get here for Sean and for the chief. So for the chefs. And we're here. Just, my friends here have come back here, and they've been traveling as a group. And I just picked them up yesterday with the van here and at YVR. So they flew in from California to Vancouver, and I booked them like rock stars for 1 whole week. So we just came from the native, the Moccasin ice hockey tournament in Merritt. It's the 54th annual, and for the first time ever, they danced on ice.
Yeah.
So, and they had the smoke, so as we were seeing this fire on ice, and
nobody fell.
yeah. So we're so honored and grateful that we made it here. And sorry we're a little bit late, but we're here, and we're especially honored that the children are here and the elders. Stove? Oh, okay. And the cook. I guess there's a stove on.
The kettle on, do you want to leave it on?
Do you still want it on?
Oh,
Val, you turn it off.
your
Yes.
thing is on.
The kids can turn it off if you want to.
Can you?
Turn it off, guys.
And it's the first time seeing this, but we're honored to be here in, how do you say, Dow's territory in Bonaparte. So Cookdom, and for allowing us to be in your territory and share some of our good medicine. We're really honored too that your band has also sponsored a big chunk of the band. So that's been around for the week, and that's we did not expect that gesture. We didn't put that out to anyone, and they just put that out. So honored. So we're still feeling it through here on how we're going to amalgamate both of our cultures. So Miss Betty, this is Adriana Betty, and we go way back. She can tell you how connected we are and with our communities, and so this is us coming back together, and it's a new group, and so we'll be sharing some of our culture together with, as you know, I'm a traditional bear dancer.
We can share a lot. I just don't know how hungry you are.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold up meals, but we do have a lot of history. In 1996, is it okay to talk about how we know each other? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So 1996 was the Peace and Dignity run, the first run to start from the Eagle and the Condor prophecy. On a lot of our codices, you see the eagle and the condor floating together. And we tried to translate what that meant, and they meant seeing that in the sky, swirling. Well, normally the condor is one of the highest flying birds of the south, and the eagle is the highest flying bird of the north. And so it was translated by an elder that no, what that means is that eagle and condor coming together and circling is the reunification of all the First Nations on the north and south continent. Because through colonialization, we have broken apart. And even some nations have split into 2 to 3 to 4, with all of these angers and everything that have developed, right? And so the elder said through this prophecy, we'll start the transcontinental run. So in 1996, the run was first established. So my brother actually ran from Alaska all the way to Teotihuacan, which is Mexico City approximately. And other runners ran from the tip of Chile all the way to Teotihuacan. So the furthest south is Tierra del Fuego, the tip of Chile. And they ran, and they started on Indigenous Peoples' Day in October of 1996. And they started running until they would meet together. As my brother ran through the Lillooet territory, that's when he ran into the late Chief Terry, great dear friend of mine. And so him and his brother David decided they're going to go ahead and run too, and at least through their territory. So Dave and Thomas joined my brother, and they started running with all the other 4 runners, right, through their territory. And Dave kind of said, okay, I'm done. But Thomas goes, no, I got this. And so Thomas decided to run with my brother all the way to Mexico. Yeah, Thomas ran from Lillooet to Mexico. So what happened with that is, we got to know Thomas really well. And we got to know a lot of people from Lillooet really well. And so we decided we were going to come back to Lillooet and see how that is. I've always worked with young people. And this group right here was actually started around a little bit before that time, in 1993. My brother was murdered in 1993. And my mother said to me that we need to have a safe place for our young people. And we need to somehow hold on to them through our traditional ways and bring them in. And I know a lot of you that work with young people, it's not easy. They feel shame for it. There's a lot of things that are going on. And sometimes this call to the street is stronger sometimes, and gets a hold of them. And so my mom said, no, we have to do something. Mom. And I go, but Mom, I, in my tradition, am a salmadora. That means I take care of the smoke. I don't know anything. I don't know how to drum. I don't know how to blow up our shells. I don't know things, right? And then I had no money because it costs a lot of money. If you have only children, how do they buy regalia? It's just not possible. So if you look, our regalia is not real fancy. Our regalia is shared. Every generation of children share it. So I'm going to have you, Mija, step to the side. This one right here was one of the first ones we made in 1996. And it's been shared from every kid. And all these other headpieces that are kind of brown were also from 1996. So what she said to me is, no, it doesn't matter what you don't know. It doesn't matter what you don't have. But you do know space needs to be created. So she gave me $5,000. With the $5,000, I bought all the materials to start our first 15 outfits. And the first headpieces and the first chachas. The leg rattles we have are called chachas or ayayotes in our language. And also the feathers. I spent over $1,000 on feathers. And so a lot of the feathers in the brown outfits, those ones are from 1996. We try to care for things as best as we can, because, we don't got the pipeline of funds, right? And they're children. It's not like they have jobs and they can buy things. So we share everything, and what we teach in this circle is our ways, but we also teach health, we teach nutrition, we teach how to be mentally sound, physically sound. We go through all of those things, and we share life, we share death. We dance for each other's families when things, are taken care of. We cook all the food, we do everything. So it's not what people would see, oh, that's a good show. No, it's not a good show. This is what you call being 100% available when the family needs you. So this is what my mother started in 1993 after my brother was murdered. And hopefully we won't have much of that. I have buried many of my children through the years because I am a teacher. I used to be a former math teacher, but now I direct a program for off-premise youth, and a lot of these kids are actually in my program. So we're using all of that to keep them here. So with that being said, that's how this group was formed. And so what happened is when Dave and Thomas started running, and they were running with my brother, and then I met them at the Oregon border, and we ran with my kids all the way down to San Francisco. And then I ran from San Francisco to Indian Canyon, and then from there I got a plane and went to Mexico to Cuautitlan, and ran from there all the way into Mexico City, all the way into Teotihuacan with Thomas. And so what happened is we started talking a lot about our work, and that's how I met Dave about his work. And we decided to do a youth exchange. So in 1996, right after the run, that was the first year we came up. And we came up to Lillooet. And we came up specifically just to meet other young people and to share and talk, and for young people to decide how are they going to be and how are they going to take care of themselves. So then what happened is when the Lillooet kids met our kids, they talked to Dave and said, well, we got to go down there and see what that's about, So they raised money, they did all kinds of things, and so then all of those kids came down to one of our ceremonies, rite of passage for our young girls. And so we had the young girl, we brought her into the center to bless her, And then all of the dancers were around her, and then I realized all the young kids from Lillooet were here. So I looked at them, I said, oh, no, come in. We opened the eastern door and we asked them, come on in. And so they all came in with their hand drums. And then they looked at the girl and they said, no. And they handed the girl their drum. And they said, you sing for yourself. And so in that day, that blessing for her rite of passage, the kids sang Women's Warrior song. Lillooet kids and my kids from the South. They sang Women's Warrior for her rite of passage. Nobody in the room knew what was going on. They're like, what are those kids doing? But it's not important that adults know what we're doing. It's important that we're taking care of ourselves and doing something healthy and helping each other, and kids are helping kids. And so they did that for the young girl, and so that's what started our exchange. All those kids that met to that time are friends right now. They're Facebooking all the time, doing all kinds of stuff. They have never lost their relationships. So I'm sorry, I'm on windy here. Going back to peace and dignity, that's the prophecy. It's through the process of running through our lands, it's going to be a way that we have to talk to each other and get to know each other and maybe heal the injuries, the past that has happened and move forward, because we are the guardians of the land. And we cannot serve the land if we are not serving each other and we're not healthy. And so the Peace and Dignity Run is every 4 years, and it's an attempt to try to bring us all back together and to be healthy. So with that, I really respect the late Dave G. Cherry, who was a great friend of mine, and I really respect all the work that he did with bringing our young people together. So today we're going to share a little bit of our traditions, the Mexica traditions. And they say that in our prophecy, actually, if some of you guys have seen the Mexican flag, the Mexican flag is actually our prophecy, but people think it's just a cute flag. That's not the original design. But what happened is our people came from really far north. They did even further north in Canada. So our language also, the mother tongue of our language is Athabascan. And I believe your mother tongue is Athabascan also? I'm not sure. But you can trace the Athabascan languages all the way down. And that's how you know you have somewhat close of a relationship, right? And so when I say mother tongue, I mean just like, how Latin, that's the mother tongue for Portuguese, all that kind of stuff. Athabascan is the mother tongue for a lot of different languages, like the Navajo language, the Nahuatl language, different languages. So what happened is we were told by the Creator to go down to the land where the 4 rivers meet, where the eagle was on the cactus on the stone. So if you look at the Mexican flag, you'll see that eagle and the cactus on the stone. You'll see that image. That's a different slightly changed image, but that was the prophecy to go to this promised land. So when people got to what is now the southwest of the United States, a lot of those people felt, oh, this isn't going to happen. There's not this promised land or whatever. Some of them felt, that they were lied to and they stayed, and that they stayed in the southwest. Those are the Apache, the Navajo, their relatives. The rest of them journeyed on to Tenochtitlan, which is actually now the Zocalo in Mexico City. So when the Catholics came, of course, they built on top of all of our stuff. So when the earthquake happened in the plaza in Mexico City, the temple started coming back up again. And they can't touch it now because it's an archaeological site. So the church is not too happy about that. But so the prophecy was, come to where the 4 rivers meet. So when they got there were 4 rivers. The eagle was on the cactus on the stone. After colonization, they filled in all those rivers but one. The one that goes through Xochimilco. Xochi means flower in our language. So the one that goes through there. So that prophecy said, this is where your promised land is. This is where your home is. And so what happened when I first came here and I started looking at everybody, I said, Jackie, these guys look like my aunts and my uncles, I kind of got thrown off for a second, So it was a really interesting experience. So that prophecy is we come from the north, but that's where, we were told to go. So I know that there's a lot of connections in that. So in our traditions, when we come into a space, we have to recognize everything that came before us. So what we always do is we go to the direction of the rising sun. So we go to the east. It's the direction of our male energy, and we pray for all of our men at that time. We go to the direction of the west, which is the direction of the setting sun, and we pray for our women at that time. All our aunties, everybody, pray for them. In our language, we say things are ome theo. Ome means 2. Theo means that gives life. So it's the duality of the life-giving force. So we have man and woman. That's the duality creates life. We turn to the north and we pray for the old ones, those that have passed on. That's the direction of wisdom. We turn to the south and we pray for the young ones, the direction of dreams and vision and stuff. And we pray that those two come together, because as those young ones are guided by the old ones, it strengthens their dreams. But sometimes these young ones aren't guided, and they don't have the power of that elder to kind of help them. That's the only detail, the duality of the life giving force. That's that duality. In the end, a lot of times we say 4 directions, but we got more. So we can't forget we got Donatiu, Father, Son, right? Because as he comes down and he kisses Mother Earth, right? She brings forth fruit, and we have nourishment. And so we have Donatiu, we have Donanti. Those are Father, Son, Mother Earth, and through those two we can exist, you know. And so we do that when we come in, just to recognize that we didn't get here first. And so I know that Jackie took care of that part, because the name was a little bit difficult for my time. But I always want to make sure that, you know, I recognize the territory that I'm on, and the loved ones that, you know, are here and everything like that, whether they run through the waters, the creeks, or wherever they are. We need to recognize them and call upon them and let them know that we're here in a good way. So she took care of that. So now what we do is make sure we take care of the men, the women, the old, the young, and the sun and the earth, and then we put everything in balance. We ask for permission. Just like when you knock on the door to go into someone's house, you're asking for permission. You just don't barge in and say, I'm setting up shop, you know? So we do that at the beginning. We offer a few prayers, but we also do it in the end, because that always has to be at the forefront of our mind, to have gratitude and to be conscious of something happened before we got here. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start. I know I'm wordy. I'll try to shut up, because I get in trouble by them for talking too much. I saw that.
I don't care. I want to go home.
Because we're still paying attention to that duality, the sun and the earth.
I apologize. Do you mind if we look at
Moving.
So one thing that really impresses me about the young people is most of what you're seeing, they learn through Zoom. So on March 13th, 2020, they shut down our schools. By Monday, we were up on Zoom. And so for the rest of 2020, they learned only on Zoom, which is very difficult because the drum and the dancing can't necessarily happen at the same time. And so sometimes I had to do them one by one, just like, you drum, let me listen, you drum, let me listen, you dance, let me, Oh, am I talking too much? I got my little bosses here, they tell me. So anyway, on March 13th, 2020, the school shut down, so the kids started on Zoom. All of 2020, they did Zoom. All of 21, they did Zoom. Barely this fall, when the schools kind of opened up, have they come back now in person. So they're barely dancing together. So it's a little bit, well, we gotta get there, So we're trying to let that flow kind of unite itself naturally. But I just have to say how much respect I have for that, for them to not only hold on to their traditions, which we know is hard for our young people, but to do it through Zoom, which is very, it's not personal, it's hard. Being together, we can laugh, we can tell our stories, we can mess with each other, but it doesn't come across that way. So they survived that, so I want to really pay some respect to them for that strength that it took. The last option that they, by the way, when we appreciate something, we like rattle or make, we usually don't go like this, that's our thing. So the last dance is called Bonanzi. Paloma? Thank you. Paloma, the dance of love and friendship. All of our dances or prayers are ways of teaching you a little bit about life and how to live life. So in this dance, you see them come up to each other, bum, 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 bum. What they're doing is they're greeting each other. They're saying hi. They're what we call abrazar. They're hugging you. They're greeting you. And then you're really happy that you're back with your friend, right? And so you turn and all this happiness, like the freedom of that child. You turn with that. But life is not simple, and we don't always love each other. So you'll see the dancer go like this with their arms open. I do love you. I accept every part of you. But then you see the dancers close their arms and then just walk behind. I hate you, I don't like you. You know? They're blocking themselves off. They're cutting themselves off. We teach the kids when you do that, when you start to cut yourself off, turn towards the person, because your goal is to understand and come back to love. If you turn this way, it takes too many steps, it takes your beat off, and it takes you longer to get to that process. So in order to heal, you have to turn to the person that you're having the conflict with. Turn towards them. Okay, I'm not feeling you yet, but I'm here now. So you notice they go through love, they go through hate. They go through love, and it's that cycle. There's a process that we build our relationships, and we have many of those battles, right? And then we get to somewhat of a stability point. And so we're kind of joyous about that. And so we're saying, hey, we got there, right? So like, oh, yeah, and they're like this, we got this, we figured it out, we went through all of that, and now we're here. And at the end, it's back to that happiness again, and they just so happy they're going down. So that dance, we call it the paloma, the dance, it translates to dove, but it's the dance of love and friendship. You guys have one more for me? Got one more? You have another one? Okay. Huh?
The one thing that the youth here also want to do is we're going to do like a remix.
Oh, yeah.
And as a traditional bear dancer, this is a grizzly hide that we're teaching. I mean, the Mexica youth have never done the bear dance either, and we don't have. I don't have a drummer, so if anybody also we can use our drummers here. But if anyone also has a bear song, we'd be happy to do that too, and I can show them So with our bear dance, and they call it the Mexica, and it's very sacred. And I'm like it was the woman who carried the sacred. I guess the sacred hides. They danced with the animal spirits. I mean, they cared for them. That's what Martina Pierre told me that she learned from our ancestors. And we also have a very playful bear dance, and that's more the version that we also do as well. Depending, sometimes I have danced at ceremonies, gatherings, weddings, and memorials even. So. And the fun part of it is that we go to the schools and we teach them. Sometimes we put medicine, hide on the floor, and I go to the schools, I teach them, I put medicine on there, and I show them this is a black bear, this is a cinnamon bear, and then I get the real wow, and I'm like, this here, we teach about the grizzly hide and its extinction too, how we're protecting it as statling in our territory as well. And we teach the dance, and it's just playful. It's good medicine. And I'm a twin, so my mom always says that I carry the bear medicine. And as we drive, because I'm bear, and Adriana, my southern sister here, she's bear and eagle. So together we say we're eagle. And so that's what we named the band. We call it the Beagle Band. So, and when we're just booking into our next dance here, we're going there say bear power. So we have to get to Bonaparte by 5. So thank you. And so this is the bear dance, and then it's very heavy. I think I asked some people once to guess how many pounds it is. It's pretty heavy. And this one is literally starting to. It's going to be going back into the earth soon. The claws are falling off, so I'd be very delicate with it. It's been all over, I've been to Standing Rock, and this is our Adriana works some youth there as well. And it's been on TV here. I've joined Chief Frank Antoine and some of his group, and also when we're bringing home the ancestors, I was on my canoe journey too. And so it's travel that's been sharing some good bear medicine. The box here I have, the wooden box, that's from Marilyn Porter. She gifted it to me after her father's funeral for helping out, and that is literally under my seat when I drive and carry medicine, sacred medicine in there. So come full circle. So the bear dance is for like a bear, right? And then as soon as we're dancing like this, and like if you don't have a high, we're like this, right? And then we're going to do it. We're looking for who we're dancing.
I haven't had regalia on since 2017. My nephew was permanently murdered that year, and my father passed, and a friend passed, and everybody left me, and it became very hard. So I put my regalia up for a while, and I regret it in a way, because the circle is medicine for our children. And I actually shut down the circle for the kids too. And during that time, the kids began to cut themselves and do some other things that just weren't good. A year later, they asked me, can we just have the circle? You don't have to dance, but can we just have this space again? So we came back together, and they have this space, but I just don't put my regalia on anymore. And actually, they are wearing my regalia. When the time is right, I'm going to come back. So I apologize if I didn't offer that to you today, but you do have to self-heal, but even when you do self-heal, you have to kind of still keep your eyes open to what's around you. And in retrospect, I would have done it differently, knowing the pain that it caused the children to have that space taken from them. But now they have it back, and they own it, and they let me come around sometimes. So we're gonna, do we have time for one more and then off? Yeah. Okay, pique the sweet tea or pique the sweet tea? Are you guys up? Sweet tea? Really? Okay. Whistler fortune in our language means hummingbird. So you're gonna see them go like this, and you're gonna see them flutter, but you're gonna see them turn, like they'll turn real fast. Sometimes when we dance, we ask you to guess. We'll give you a hint. It might be a bird, whatever. We'll try to get you to guess what bird it is. But
Once singles or doubles?
it's up to you. So we ask you to guess what the bird is. But if you know a hummingbird flutters in place, but it also turns very quickly. So you'll see that in the dance. Versus like the eagle dance goes like this. It's more like a soar. So we mimic the movement of the animals. So with that, I'm going to offer you Usla Pochi.
So this medicine that is in here with this abalone shell, this medicine has been gathered everywhere, and there's little mixes of it that's juniper and sage and cedar and tobacco. But this is what we're carrying in our box here that's from my friend here. And through the canoe journeys, through the bear dances, through the powwows, through all the ceremonies, through bringing home the spirits, through the language conferences. I just came back from Kanaka Bar, and there we were. I met somebody there that connected us and staying in Stockholm. So we arrived, like she was saying, we arrived there late last night. So over the next days, if you're traveling, so are we. So tonight we're going to go to Stein Valley School, and I also wanted to thank Chief Antoine and Karen and Stuart. We put the schedule. We're going to be here like last night, and we're going to say, let's do a brunch. So we're really happy it turned into being a dinner. So thank you for being so open and accommodating. So tonight we'll be at Stein Valley School, and then tomorrow we'll be waking up there, and we'll be there around 9 o'clock, or maybe part of the most of the morning. And then we're going to drive to Seabird Island School, and we'll be there after lunch at 1 o'clock. And then from there to the next day on Monday, the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women's Rally in Vancouver. We meet at noon at Main and Hastings. And that's with thousands and thousands of people gathered together. And I used to take part in that before it really hit close to home. And I had my twin brother has a daughter, and she passed away in the downtown east side to a drug overdose. And I was a foster mom to beautiful Inuit children who grew up and moved to Ottawa and Toronto, and she eventually became addicted because of older non-native men were taking advantage of them. And both of these girls were both in the foster care system, so we really need to set supports for the aging out. That's what I advocate for. So when they reach 19, the ministry is somewhat responsible for them too, 18. But when they're 20, they're just left on their own. So my concern is the aging out girls and boys. And also, further to that, is also the murdered and missing Indigenous men and boys that are going missing. That's pretty prevalent, especially in our Native communities, but there's just less awareness and less support. You know, we're also bringing awareness about two-spirits. So they're the generation too that are advocates and making waves and the shapeshifters. So this is our youth. So question.
At this time, we'd like to ask the Chief Frank Anton.
Oh, the early right here.
I'm finding the
Why are you saying
I take pictures.
We're not scary, are we? We, all of the young people here, we can't even express the amount of gratitude that we feel for you, for your leadership. And without even knowing us, you know, just kind of say, we're going to take care of you a little bit here. It means a lot, you know. It means a lot to all of us, to the young kids. When they were talking to their parents, they go, Mom, can you believe it? People are giving us toothbrush, toothpaste, they're getting all of these things for us, and they don't even know us, you know. And so it's been an experience for the young people to actually feel that people love them no matter what. And a lot of our young kids don't have that, to be able to be feel no matter, no matter what, And we're not perfect, our kids come from a lot of trauma, so we're not perfect. And kids especially that come from trauma, right, they need to somehow have someone say, they're okay and they're worth something. And so that's what you have been able to do for these kids. So just a small gift from us. This is one of our Mexica New Year's. So we have a different calendar system. We only have 4 years in our calendar. So this is actually the year of Flint. At Teparo, it's the year I'm actually born, which everybody hates. So each year comes with its different gifts. So the gifts can be used for good or bad. So this is the obsidian blade. And what that means is the ability to speak profoundly. But with every gift you have, you choose how to use it. You can use it for good or you can use it for bad. Some of us don't use it well to help other people, and some do. And so it was the year of Flint. Now our years changed by 13, so this was for Flint. So if you look down here in our language, it says Nawi Tepal. So Nawi means 4, and so it's the year 4. Tepal is what we call this, the blade. It's called Nawi Tepal. This is the group, Kapuli means the house in the group that gave off the circle. But anyway, so our Mexican New Year usually comes around the spring equinox, when the spring starts to happen. So it's about to happen here in March. But every year it changes, and so I think we're just leaving the year of the rabbit. I forget what year we're coming into next. But we just really want to say thank you and offer this to you. And then my young one is gonna. So what we use all things in here. We use what's called copal, which is the resin from a tree. We also use cedar, we use sage, we use, I forget what the name of the root is. I usually get it on the Paiute res all the time. But we ground it into powder. Sometimes they put it in the sweat lodge too. But we use all those different things in here. So this one that we're using here is called copal. Okay? And what she's going to do is just kind of offer you a little bit of that. Take care of it. The best way you know how to take care of it.
On our canoe journeys up here, when it's so hot, I would use I would put that in my mouth to help hydrate. Jackie filled us in about how you just make the world turn and everything like that. So we wanted to also think about you at this time. This is hand woven from Oaxaca. And then a couple of the girls, their mothers went and picked all of the cedar. And so we put a little bag of cedar in here for you. You can take care of your house and everything with. But you know, you can put some money in here, think of something like that.
we dry them and we have pouches. So we have, depending on what medicine we need, we have a pouch for each medicine. And so that's what we do. Sometimes if, we're having certain healings, we might want to have ground up cedar, and then we put that in the water, or if we're doing like a personal sweat, we put that, and that's what the person drinks. And so we always separate the medicines. There's some medicines that we kind of mix together, but we have bags like this for each one of the medicines.
Thank you.
So if you can take some medicine and think of us.
I will, thank you.
Oh, you got something better, huh?
Yeah, something better.
Something better. I don't really like it.
Sorry I was late. I had to bring my son from Kelowna to here, so it takes about 3 hours. So, to start this journey, just so my community knows why, this came about over a week ago, Jackie. And Jackie, like you said, mentioned earlier, she was on our canoe trip, and then the group that came through, the walking group that came through here. So she phoned me right away and asked me if we can bring you here. And we didn't even hesitate, we said yes. Because I look at a community here today, they're here because they want to get to know you and get to understand the cultures that we share. We as a community are learning to get our culture back, our language back. We have some language speakers in here, elders in here, we got youth in here. So it's a great thing. What's out there, family. So that, I've got the opportunity to travel the world. I personally get to travel the world. And this is what I get to see, folks, when I go travel the world. They greet you and they greet us, we want to greet you the same way. We want to welcome you into our community. And I think we've done that, I think, in every group that has come through our community. So one of the gifts, I'm always conscious of gifts because that's something that symbolizes us as a community. And so I'm gonna give this drum that normally Patrick made on the 215, when we found 215 of the children at the residential school. So the orange represents the truth and reconciliation. So this is a drum that personally was made right in this community, just up the road. This is our community, Bonaparte First Nation year. So what I'm gonna get everybody to do though, I want them to all sign it. And so we got calls. So before you guys leave, please sign this for our guests. Because we really want to symbolize everybody that was here. So one day when you use it or whatever you want to do with it, it's something that we really want to honor you. It's because it's important that we carry our culture and our song with you and our tradition.
We're going to be in the march on Tuesday. Is it okay to use it on Tuesday?
On behalf of us,
Oh.
we love you.
We don't have a hand drum for this journey, so this is perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, before we go, my elder,
She needs the drum.
oh yeah, she will use this. Come up and sing a song for us. And it's tuned in for you right now. I tuned it up just for you.
Yeah, serious.
Jacqueline and Elliot, ze met them zelfs. Ze afgepust met Wickton for Haida. Welcome to Bonaparte. We're so happy to see each and every one of you. En ik zeg hoe Hawaii children is voor welcome. Thank you for the dance, for showing us the dance. This is a Bonaparte honor song. If anybody knows it here. It's you. Hey, 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 oh, hey.
And there's money that comes with it too, Diane. We donated $500 for their trip, but we also gave them $500 for their van too. So we did help and created a dinner for them. So here's some money on our behalf for your travel.
I don't know if you guys say it like that, but we take Swan also. As long as you dip it in chili first.
Oh.
So more directions and then, yes. So, we're gonna go ahead and just close off and make sure that we recognize those men, those women, those old ones, those young ones, Mother, Son, Mother Earth, and just share our gratitude and, so that we didn't get to first.
What do you mean? Hold the camera for her. Oh, no, never mind.
Hey, everybody, can we take a picture with you before you take it off? All the kids come in, please. All the kids. We'll do all the kids, and we'll do all the others.
Sign after.
You can bring them. Kendall. 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 mine.
Go ahead.
Just put the dress on. Somebody. Where's Sophie? Come here, Sophie. Right here. How's that?
Can someone take a
Oh, we're gonna add the elders next.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Okay, everybody else. Well, we got all the kids anyways. And then everybody. What? Yeah, we got the kids, so let's get the adults and the elders.
Yeah.
Okay, elders and adults, let's go. Come on, guys, we got it.
Yeah, everybody.